Man, what is happening, my YouTube family? Of course, it is your boy B New. I'm coming at you on this Sunday. And first and foremost, as always, want to send out positive vibrations and blessings to anybody who could be listening. Now, with all that being said, we all know that the Los Angeles Lakers were in Las Vegas on yesterday, taking on none other than the Indiana Pacers in the inaugural, which means the first ever in-season tournament championship game. And of course, just like we all predicted, or most anybody would have predicted, the Los Angeles Lakers showed up and dominated that game pretty much from start to finish. Now, I want to preface my show today on saying this. I am going to have to go back and watch some film and give you a more intricate breakdown of the film tomorrow, because I don't know if you all know this, but right in my backyard on yesterday, the area in which I live was ravished by tornadoes, and there have been, I think, at least 5 or 6 people confirmed dead. So we want to send out positive prayers and vibrations to everybody who was affected by that on yesterday. And with all that being said, while I'm ducking and dodging storms, of course, the local broadcast, because the game was nationally broadcasted on ABC, I could not watch it on League Pass as I normally do. So I broke out my trusty antenna, of course, and I was all ready to watch it on ABC. And of course, because of the breaking news and the news coverage trying to get people to safety because of the tornadoes that swept through the Middle Tennessee area on yesterday, I was unable to even watch the game the way I wanted to. I ended up watching the Kevin Hart Unplugged on ESPN2 on the other broadcast, because I couldn't find a good live feed of anybody streaming. And I'm telling you what, right now, man, y'all go ahead and hire me instead of Kevin Hart, man, because I could have interviewed Ice Cube's son and Pat Bev and everybody else better, and I probably would have been a little bit more funny, man, because I can get silly, as y'all know. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it was kind of hard to watch the game with all that chatter, man. They just chattering and talking to me what seemed to be a lot of nonsense. But I tried to turn it down and do my own commentating at times. But at the end of the day, you know, I could really see what the Lakers were doing. It was going to be hard for Halliburton to get out. That just kind of shows you. And I'm going to touch on the game, the X's and O's, just for a brief moment, because I didn't really get a chance, like I said, to do in-depth. But because the broadcast will be available to me again tonight or tomorrow, I'll go back and maybe watch it and then give a full, complete breakdown. But the main takeaway I noticed was, of course, that Anthony Davis anchoring that defense. And if Anthony Davis continues to anchor the defense in the way that he is doing, the Lakers are going to be an unstoppable force. And I want to say the Lakers are like 13-3 in the last 16 games or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. And during that time, have had the second rated defense in the league. And I'm telling you right now, and I said it from the beginning, when the Lakers got all the way whole, bringing back Vanderbilt and Hachimura, and then Cam Reddish actually coming into his own and becoming a pretty good 3-and-D, dare I say 3-and-D player, because of what he's been able to do on the defense. I give him a little more D than I give him 3, because that 3-point shot is still a tad bit inconsistent. But then you have people like Max Christie coming in, which I said last year in spots I saw Max Christie was going to develop into a great player. I think the Lakers hit on the money when they drafted him, because Max Christie, I don't even think is fully grown yet. He might grow another 1 or 2 inches. Well, how old is that guy? Like 19, 20 years old? But he's a knockout. I mean, he's just as good as Cam Reddish. I think on-ball defender damn near, if not just maybe a step behind him. But I think he's a better shooter, and he spaces the floor a lot better. But when you have a Cam Reddish who can come out and get on a Halliburton, you have a wing defender like that, and then you have Vando who can come off the bench and do the same thing. The Lakers are a very dangerous team, because the size that they have on the wings and the athleticism. And I said this the other day, when you have a Rui Hachimura, who is, I would say, maybe a touch behind everybody else when it comes on the defensive end, I think, you know, because of his workout in the summer with LeBron James, that he can actually become a very great 3-point shooter. But my point is, Rui Hachimura, Cam Reddish, Vanderbilt, and even a Max Christie are very great 3-and-D guys that the Lakers have. And then you have Austin Reeves, who can be a good point of attack player. You have LeBron James. Enough said, we already know what he can do. And I'm telling you what, the Lakers with LeBron James and Anthony Davis in that pick and roll are pretty hard to stop. I really don't know any other play in the NBA that is as dangerous as that play when it comes to getting yourself a bucket other than that LeBron James and Anthony Davis pick and roll. And what I notice is, a lot of teams, they just can't switch on that because it just depends on your personality. Either you're going to switch, you're going to blitz, or you're going to drop. And I noticed last night that, the Indiana Pacers, they really didn't have an answer for it. So when they would drop, of course, LeBron James would find a Anthony Davis roaming to the basket for an easy finish. If they would blitz, of course, then LeBron James knows how to get the ball out of his hands, do a skip play, skip around, and having them to close out somewhere on the weak side and end up getting an easy opportunity for the Lakers. Although they did not take, maybe 2 or 3 threes last night, or made only 2 or 3 threes and still won the game like that with some good old school style basketball. And what I'm telling you right now, D'Angelo Russell, if he can just play decent, that's all we need out of D'Angelo Russell, is to play decent. He's been playing better as of yet. Y'all know I'm still down on D-Lo, like as far as his athleticism, his strength, his size, his ability to break down defenses. I'm not fully convinced. I feel like he's a better off-the-ball player with the LeBron James. I feel like, LeBron James can facilitate and get D-Lo some open shots, because I feel like he's a great stand-up shooter if he's a catch-and-shoot shooter, but not necessarily somebody who's going to just create for himself and just pull up and shoot threes, so to speak. And that's something that, D'Angelo Russell has not been historically great at. But man, let me get to this point, though, because who care about breaking down the whole game? I got several points I want to talk about when it comes to the actual in-season tournament. First and foremost is LeBron James got the inaugural in-season tournament MVP. And of course, as soon as he got it, you had a lot of smooth brain individuals all over Twitter, all over Facebook, all over Instagram, all over everywhere else talking about, why does LeBron James get the final? Anthony Davis had 40 points. And at that point, LeBron James said, man, get yourself 40 points to Anthony Davis, because he already knew he had it sold up, because LeBron James is smart. He knows the rules. And for a minute, I think Anthony Davis may have thought, maybe just for a brief second, that the MVP was whoever played the best in that last game. But maybe next year he'll turn it up in every single game. But let me explain it for you all. It's just like in a series, you have the finals MVP. Well, since this is not a series, it is only a single season, it's only a game, then it was based on every tournament game that led up to it. And the Lakers, as we all know, were undefeated in all those games leading up to it. And mostly that was because of LeBron James and the things that he was able to do, as far as we saw what he did in the last game. We saw what he did, against the Suns. So at the end of the day, the Lakers have been able to, you saw what he did against the Pelicans, you saw what he did against the Suns. The Lakers, LeBron James, he took it upon himself. And one thing I will say about the Pelicans that I neglected to say the other day, that I meant to say, was people like Brandon Ingram and people like players like Zion Williams, who's still too young. They probably went to Vegas and partied like rock stars that night. Probably got up with a few little honeys or whatever they did, but they didn't have the energy or whatever it took to be able to go out and compete that day. Whereas LeBron James, as a leader, had his guys focused. Now, one thing I do want to point out is everybody keeps saying this is a notch in LeBron's belt. This is something that he can say that he got an in-season tournament. Like, to me, in my mind, I really don't feel like that's an argument for LeBron James as far as being the GOAT. He's already solidified that in my mind, just based off the body of work that he already has, just career-wise, and just the way he carries himself on the basketball court. I think it's top-notch, better than none other, and just how long he's had his peak. But that's a conversation for another day. If you are somebody who watches this channel and you've seen my viral rant, then you know how I feel about a LeBron James. But at the end of the day, I just feel like, that doesn't really matter. This is just more of a tune-up. It's a good preparation for the Lakers, so when they do get to the playoffs, they can say, hey, you know what? We had that in-season tournament, single game elimination. We had our back against the wall, so we know what it takes in order for us to be able to play at the highest level in an elimination type atmosphere and environment. So that is very good. And what the NBA is trying to do, of course, is just boost ratings during the middle of the season, because we all know a lot of people don't even start watching the NBA until after Christmas, because everybody is so much focused on college football and the NFL. So I, for one, think it was a success because it did drive ratings. It did drive fans to watch some of these games, just like the Boston, Indiana game and a lot of these other games that were being watched. So at the end of the day, I think it was a success. It did everything it was meant to do. It put monies in some of these players' pocket. It gave them a sense of wanting to compete. And at the end of the day, all of these games, except for the last one, went towards the regular season. So all of these games matter. And I apologize for that, y'all, but man, this is getting to be a bumpy road, so I'm not going to continue to do this, man. But I just want to say I'll be back tomorrow. We're going to break down everything, X's and O's and whatnot. But as always, man, it's been your boy B New. I'm saying right on to the real, and much love to these haters. I'm out.